Imagine this. It's 1938. In a dim Berlin laboratory, a scientist stares at a test tube that's just behaved like no chemical in history ever should. The uranium inside has split and released energy beyond imagination. That moment, unnoticed by the world, would change the destiny of humanity. Because before the mushroom clouds of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, before anyone heard the name Manhattan Project, a secret war had already begun. Not a war of armies, but of minds, equations, and fear. This is the true story of how the race for the atomic bomb began years before the world even knew it was possible.
Part 1. The discovery that terrified scientists. In late 1938, German chemists Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann made a strange discovery. When they bombarded uranium atoms with neutrons, the atoms didn't just change, they split. Their colleague, Lise Meitner, an Austrian physicist forced to flee Nazi Germany because she was Jewish, studied the data from exile. She realized the unthinkable. This was nuclear fission. A single atom could release the power of thousands of tons of TNT. Albert Einstein had once said, "Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared." Now that theory had become terrifyingly real. Scientists across the world went pale. If one could control this reaction, it could mean limitless energy or the most destructive weapon in human history. And deep inside Hitler's Germany, someone was already thinking the same thing.
Part 2. Hitler's Hidden Atomic Dream. The Nazis called it the Uranium Club, a top-secret program led by Nobel Prize-winning physicist Werner Heisenberg. Their goal? To build a nuclear reactor, and possibly a bomb. But the German project had problems. Hitler dismissed modern physics as Jewish science. He didn't understand or care about long-term scientific research. The irony was brutal. By driving away Jewish scientists like Einstein and Meitner, Hitler crippled his own program. Still, the Nazis pushed forward. They searched for uranium in occupied Europe and, crucially, they hunted for something called heavy water, produced only in one place, the Vemork plant in Norway. And to stop them, a small group of resistance fighters would risk everything. Part 3. The Heroes of Vemork. It's winter, 1943. In the frozen mountains of Norway, 9 men on skis move silently under the moonlight. They are resistance fighters, trained by the British. Their mission: infiltrate Vemork and destroy the heavy water facility. They climb cliffs, cross blizzards, and sneak past German guards. When they reach the plant, they plant explosives with surgical precision. Moments later, boom! The Nazi nuclear program loses its heart. Historians say this single mission delayed Hitler's atomic dream by years. And while Germany's project burned in the snow, America's was just heating up in the desert.
Part 4. The Manhattan Project. By 1942, the United States had entered the war, and fear of a German atomic bomb haunted everyone, especially the scientists who knew how real the danger was. At their urging, President Roosevelt approved the Manhattan Project, the largest and most secret scientific mission in history. It was massive, 130,000 people across 30 sites, all working in silence. Most had no idea what they were building. In Los Alamos, New Mexico, a new town rose out of the desert, guarded by barbed wire and secrecy. The brilliant but mysterious J. Robert Oppenheimer led the scientific side. General Leslie Groves, the hard-nosed engineer who built the Pentagon, managed it like a war. 2 parallel paths emerged: uranium enrichment in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, plutonium production in Hanford, Washington. Billions of dollars, thousands of minds, all chasing one impossible goal. A bomb that could end the war or the world. Part 5. The Test That Shook the Earth. July 16, 1945. Before dawn in the New Mexico desert, the scientists gather for a test they call Trinity. No one knows exactly what will happen. Some even fear it might ignite the atmosphere. At 5:29 a.m., the world changes. A blinding flash turns night into day. The shock wave rolls for miles. Oppenheimer watches in silence and whispers the words from the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. They had succeeded, and the atomic age had begun. Part 6. The German Failure and the Allied Secret. Meanwhile, in Europe, the Allies stormed Germany and uncovered the ruins of Heisenberg's project. Half-built reactors, unused uranium, and confusion. Operation Alsos, an Allied intelligence unit, captured the German scientists and flew them to England. At Farm Hall, their conversations were secretly recorded. When they heard about Hiroshima weeks later, they were stunned. Heisenberg said, "They didn't need to do it. We never got that far." And he was right. The Nazis had the brains, but not the belief. Part 7. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 3 weeks after Trinity, the bomb was ready. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay dropped a uranium bomb over Hiroshima. In seconds, the city vanished. 3 days later, Fat Man, a plutonium bomb, leveled Nagasaki. The war ended. But so did something inside humanity. Even Oppenheimer told President Truman later, "I feel I have blood on my hands." Truman coldly replied, "The blood is on mine." The genie was out, and it would never go back. Part 8. The Race That Never Ended. After the war, the Soviets used stolen Manhattan Project data, leaked by spies like Klaus Fuchs, to build their own bomb by 1949. The U.S. responded with the hydrogen bomb. Soon, Britain, France, China, everyone joined the atomic club. The race that began before 1945 had simply changed shape. It wasn't a sprint anymore. It was an arms race that defined the entire Cold War. Ending. The reflection. The secret race for nuclear weapons before 1945 was never just about power. It was about fear. Fear of losing. Fear of extinction. Fear of being too late. From Meitner's equations in exile to Oppenheimer's desert fire, this was a story of how genius, desperation, and paranoia collided and changed everything. When the atom was split, humanity was too. And the question still remains, will knowledge save us or destroy us? If you found this story fascinating, make sure to subscribe, because the next secret in history might be even more unbelievable.